I sat on the bed and there was a mirror and I'm looking at myself. I could see my skin. My skin was like gray color. So I'm asking Jesus, if you get me out of this situation, I'll never use drugs ever again. And the next thing I know, my heartbeat's slowing down slower and slower and slower. And then I don't hear it. And the next thing, my eyes are closing off like an aperture on the camera lens. I could see a man wearing white robe. I said to him, Jesus, you came for me.
Welcome to God's Voice Daily. I'm your host, Vladimir, and this is the channel where I share daily phone calls with people from around the world who've had real supernatural encounters with Jesus, angels, demons, and everything in between. Some of these calls go on to become full episodes on our main show called God's Voice Today, but here you will hear them raw and unfiltered, just the way they happened. So without any further ado, let's dive into today's featured call. Enjoy. David, this is Vladimir from God's Voice Today. By the way, David, do you live in North Carolina?
Yes, I do.
So you are that couple. So I had the conversation, I think your wife, Lisa, right?
Yes.
Lisa, and she shared a powerful testimony. But I'm curious, David, in a nutshell, can you tell me a little bit about your testimony?
I have a few different experiences, but I can tell you first off, in 1980s, I wasn't the same person I am now. I was involved in the drug trade or drug business, trafficking cocaine and selling cocaine. So as in high school, I didn't do that, but I didn't drink in high school. In 77, I graduated. I just started smoking marijuana and some other stuff, but it kind of moved toward the cocaine mainly. So one night, this went on for quite some time, but before that happened, I just delivered something in California to on some street. It was called Sleepy Hollow. And suddenly it was like October maybe. And I was walking back to my truck and all this wind came straight down out of the sky. All the leaves fell off the trees. There's nobody on the street. And then there's this man standing right behind me. I was driving a 1982 Toyota pickup truck and the paint was peeling off. It was oxidized. It was really bad looking, but that's what I had. And he put his hand on top of my truck. He was so tall. He put his arm where your armpit is, on top of my truck, and the other arm around my side. He wouldn't let me move. And he said, David, you need to stop doing what you're doing. And I turned around and looked at him. He looked like a normal person, except his eyes were like amber colored, really strange looking. And then he told me you need to stop doing what you're doing. And I'm like thinking about who's this guy, and that because I was arrogant, real ass back then. I just did what I did and didn't care about anything else, just myself mainly. And then I was looking at him, and then when I started to stick my key in my truck, a lightning bolt came out of my key into the door, and the next thing he was gone. And me being a person back then, I ran down the street, ran all around. I'm like, this guy must have just ran over here. But then I sat in my truck for 4 hours sitting there, realizing I just had an encounter with an angel or Jesus. And I sat there for 4 hours debating if I should open my glove box and start using my drugs. And I just didn't. And then the time went on. I don't know how long it went on. This could have been a couple weeks, a couple months. I'm not sure. But in February of 1982, my usual friends I partied with, dropped me off at my girlfriend's house. I couldn't get in the apartment because I didn't have a key. I had to wait till somebody opened the door, and it took me like 30 minutes just to get to the elevator. And every time the elevator door would open, my heart was beating so hard, I knew I was going to have a problem. And it got in the elevator. It took me a long time to get to the door. I knocked on her door. She let me in. And I knew there's something seriously wrong. It wasn't normal. And then I could hear my heartbeat slowing down in my ear, my chest. I sat on the bed. There was sitting on the end of the bed, and there was a mirror, sliding glass door mirror. And I'm looking at myself. I could see my skin. My skin was like gray color. And I'm looking at myself, and I'm thinking to myself, there's nothing I can't change this right now. But the only way I could have changed it if I never did this stuff. So I'm asking Jesus if he could, if he could help me or save me or get me out of the situation. I never use drugs ever again. I never use cocaine or that ever again. And the next thing I know, my heartbeat's slowing down fast, slower and slower and slower. And then the last time I don't hear it. And the next thing I'm my eyes are closing up like an aperture on the camera lens. And then I don't remember falling back on the bed, but that's what must have happened. And I must have been dead for 15 hours at least, because I got there like after 1 a.m. It was that next day. I didn't see the sun come up. The sun was going down the next night, the day. And next thing all I know is I don't remember him saying anything to me, but all I remember is seeing him. It was like a hallway. It wasn't a hallway, but it's just a long way away. I could see a man wearing white robe with a tallit on his head, which I didn't. I thought it was a hood on his head, but it's a scarf that goes over the head, and they put it over each shoulder. And then I said to him, "Jesus, you came for me," because I knew who he was. And he said, "David, who else would be coming for you?" And then he was talking to me, and I don't know how long it lasted. It could last for 5 minutes, 10 seconds. I'm not sure. And then he was there, and then he said a few things to me. Then he was gone. But as soon as he left, my addiction was gone.
What did he before he left? He said he said a few things. What did he say?
He said, do you have anything to do for me in your future? And my future ended. What if I believe to this day, if I would never said to him, please, if I'll never ever use this ever again, but if I would have lied to myself, if he would have known it, I would not be talking to you, because everything went just black. I don't know where I was. I think I was in the place I would be for judgment when he would come back to judge the world. But he decided to bring me back, resurrect me from the dead, because I've been dead for at least 15 hours, full dead. So when I realized what happened to me, and I thought, because growing up, I asked about the Lord and different things. My family was very dysfunctional. I was a little kid, and in the 60s, I used to ride my bike, 5-year-old kid, in the city of Linwood, California, right next to Watts. It was a really bad neighborhood back then, and never happened to me because he told me, "I've been with you the whole time, protecting you the whole time." So, yeah, after that, after I woke, I was conscious of what happened to me. I flushed probably $20,000 worth of cocaine down the toilet, because I promised him I'd never be around it. I won't have nothing to do with it. And then the same day, this sounds crazy to tell you, but I used to keep all my stash, large amounts of it, in a safe deposit box in Bank of America, so I would never get caught with it or never have a large amount on me. And to this day, I never told. That was February 17th, 1982. That was 42 years ago. This February, 43 years ago. I never told my friends because I believed they would have just ridiculed me and laughed at me, and I don't want nothing to do with that, you know.
Wow. So your life hasn't been the same ever since, right? Been a follower of Jesus.
He's been with me ever since. He's done things. He's done even after that, he's done miracles for me. After that experience, I kind of left Los Angeles and went to live up in Northern California with a friend of mine on a Native American reservation. It's called the Hopi Indian Reservation in a town called Covelo. It's about 500 miles north of San Francisco. But I was staying there, and I'll tell you this experience. I was standing on the on-ramp to try to get I used to hitchhike back then. I sat there for 3 hours, and I decided I'm not going to get a ride here. So a cop saw me and said, "Want to know what I was doing?" I told him I'm trying to get out of here. He said, "Well, just go to the train station," or the train station in the same town. But the train station was shut down for 25 years. And he said the tracks go south and they go toward Los Angeles. So I started walking down the tracks for hours. It must have been 45 miles, 50 miles, 60 miles. And I'm walking along the tracks and I feel the Holy Spirit with me. And then next thing you know, the river, I wanted to go get some water, and then I forgot about it. And then Jesus tells me to sit down. I hear a voice outside my body telling me, sit down on the trestle bridge. And there's a train bridge that burned up. So I'm sitting on this bridge and he tells me, reach down with your left hand. And I do. And I'm starving to death. And I reach down, I picked the biggest apple I've ever seen in my life, red apple sitting there. I'm like, who the hell would put this here? And it had the two little leaves on it, and there's water just running off the apple like it just sprayed with water. And I ate the apple, and it was the most fulfilling meal I ever had in my life. And they said, you need to walk, keep walking. So I keep walking. And then I don't know if you know you've heard of a bull mastiff dog. They're like 300 pounds. There's two dogs come running at me. And they're on this property. I have no way to defend myself against these things. And next thing you know, they stop right at the edge of their property. And I'm thinking, great, that's great. But I never knew why. He told me recently, he said, I have stopped, I have turned them away from you. And then just ran off. They didn't even notice I was there. It was just really weird back then. And I realize that now. And then I kept going down the mountain and I got down to I-5. It's a highway in California. And then these men are working on the road there. It's called Caltram. They fix the highways and work on the roads. And there's 6 guys sitting there having lunch. And then they have on the back of their truck one of these giant thermoses. I'm sure you've seen it. You pull a little spout out, water comes out. And I asked the guy, can I have some water? Do you have water in here? And he said, there's not been water in there for like 4 years. And it's all dirty on the outside. But I stuck my face under there and all this ice water came out. And the guy's freaking out because he said, no one's ever touched that. This is our truck. No one's ever. It was so bad on the outside, but I pulled the lid off of it, and it looked like there's shards of ice in there, like an iceberg. It was the cleanest water and the best water I ever had in my life. And the guy got up and dropped his food, and he went over there. He said, this is the miracle, because it wasn't normal ice. If you put your hand in there, you probably would have cut your hand on the ice. It was just so unusual. And then the Lord told me the man will be coming to give you a ride. I don't know what that means, but a man almost ran me off the road, and he was drunk. And the guy tells me, well, I'm going to Los Angeles, but I said, maybe it's a good idea that I drive the car. He said, that's good, because I can just stop at liquor stores and get more booze. I'm like, okay, you do that. And he almost hit me. That's the ride the Lord told me I'd be getting. And he drove me all the way from 500 miles away from Los Angeles to Glendale, California.
Wow. I'm curious, you keep saying that the Lord told you. Did you hear like an audible voice, or was it more like an inner thought voice?
No, the Apple thing, I heard that outside my head. Him speaking to me. Reach down, sit up on the bridge, and reach down with your left hand. I heard that outside, not my head, outside my body.
Wow, this is powerful. Powerful, powerful. David, I would love to have you on the main show. Let's figure out a way how to get you on and share this on camera.
Well, Lisa was telling me that you might come up here and just film it up here.
I was thinking about that because both of you have powerful testimonies. And if I can just come up and record them on camera, it would be, and I'm not that far away. I'm just in Charlotte. So I'm like maybe a little over an hour. Well, David, we'll stay in touch. I'm looking forward to coming up there and getting the testimony on camera. But I also recorded this one. So do you mind if I share this one as well?
That's fine. That's fine.
Awesome. Well, David, thank you so much for your time.
It's just that it impacted my life so much that growing up, I never had a father, and my mother never told me about him. She kept lying about it. And I came from a broken family, and I kept going to churches and asking people about the Lord, and they thought I was a problem person and didn't help me out at all, But the Lord came to me that day and saved me and brought me back to life. And he said, there's reasons for that. And I told him ever since then, I've told him, since he did that for me, whatever he wants me to do, just let me know and I'll do whatever it is you want me to do.
Well, and I feel honored that he connected you with me, and I know that your testimony will be heard by many, many, many people.
Okay.
It'll be a blessing to a lot of people. So, David, we'll stay in touch.
Okay, thank you.
God bless. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
You too.
Hey, if this story moved you, there is definitely more. Every day, someone new shares their supernatural encounter with Jesus. So hit subscribe right now and don't miss what's coming up next. And if you're ready for another powerful supernatural testimony, tap the next video on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.